All right, well, we have a freshly tested. We got a freshly resurfaced head, pretty much rebuilt head, I could say that. It's got the relap valves, so this thing's ready to be put in, and this engine's ready to be assembled. Long story short, but I kind of figured out why this engine overheated. So these engines have the cursed plug. The cursed plug goes behind the head, and it basically goes right here. This is the back of the head. This is where the cam goes. This is the cam angle sensor. This is the holder for the coil packs. This is the rear water jacket connection, and then this goes here, that way, or the other way, one of those. But anyways, and then that's the temperature sensor. The cursed plug goes right here, and those usually tend to break with time. Obviously, it's being heat soaked in the back, and it's literally just like a rubber grommet, and they tend to bust. And you could clearly tell that this one busted. This is where basically the plug would be on the back of the head, and this one definitely gave out. And I think that's why this engine basically overheated. Ran it without water. Water came out, and it overheated the engine. So I pressure tested the head. We pressure tested the head, dropped it off at the machine shop, and they told me, yep, the head's good, but it needs to be, the valves needs to be redone. The head was so warped that the valve tolerances completely changed. Cylinder number one obviously had 60 psi compression. The second cylinder had 30. So that really shows you how warped the head was. So we're gonna start assembling it. Hopefully it takes me a day or two, but I'm trying to get this thing done before Wednesday, and it's Monday, so let's get started. So just got back from the auto parts store, got some blades so we can clean this thing. Obviously the old head gasket is still on it, so that's what I bought the blades for. We have some brake cleaner as well, which we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning up the block so we can obviously install the new resurfaced head. So all the parts that I bought for this, basically just a gasket kit. It's a brake booster for my BMW. Doesn't belong in here. So we got the head bolts. Obviously this engine was overheated. You always want to change your head bolts if you overheat your engine, because these are stretch bolts, so they lose their strength, integrity. They're basically just integrity. So whenever you grab the old bolts that were heat cycled that way, they could snap while you're actually installing them, so that's not good. It's better off to get new ones. And over here, gaskets. This is the gasket kit, comes with all the gaskets needed to do a top-end job. So the intake, 2 exhaust header gaskets, the head gasket, the water jacket gaskets. These, I'm not too sure what they're for, but we'll figure it out. The valve cover gasket, and then the 2 cam seals. So we're gonna have to take apart the cams, take off the gears at least, so we can install those. But yeah, we're gonna have to reassemble that whole head before slapping it on, obviously. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up the block so we can install the head, torque it down. Right now, I want to take the time to clean it up, clean up the block, so we can get this little car running. So let's jump to the time lapse. Okay, so we're back working on the Miata. It's a different day. Second day of assembly. Went back to the machine shop, got that dowel pin that I was missing. They ended up having it, so good for me. I didn't have to order another one, wait for 2 more days, 3 more days for Mazda to bring one in, because Mazda doesn't keep engine parts in stock. So I mean, I'm already waiting on that cursed plug that goes behind the head, but we could put the cam on the head. We got the 2 lifters that we were missing, so I'm gonna move this to the bench and start working on it. Alright, sorry for the background noise. The machine's routering right now, but real quick. Got this almost fully assembled. Obviously, I gotta put the water neck in the front. I have the O-rings for that. I went to pick them up this morning. Put the valve, the cam seals on it already. Put the new lifters in this side. This cam is in already, torqued down and everything, so we're ready to go. What I want to do first, I want to cut this old bolt, create some grooves so I can basically make a tap and rethread basically the block, just so I don't well, that was the washer. Thanks, washer. Basically, I don't want to strip the block, so what I'm gonna do is cut some grooves basically, or some slits, or just with the grinding wheel. I'll make some cuts right here on the threads. Alright, so it's kind of dark, but basically the main idea was to do this. Have just a tap so I could run the threads on the block, make sure I don't strip any of the new or the actual threads. This way is the only way you could actually clean the threads, unless you have a tap, but I mean, I got new bolts, so this was basically free. I'm gonna go ahead and start focusing on the head, installing the head. It shouldn't take that long. I mean, installing the head is quick. I think it takes the most tedious, the most time is reassembling everything else. Putting on the intake, putting on the timing, the exhaust. I mean, the exhaust is easy, but I mean, once you get to the intake, you got a lot less room. Anyways, so for now, I have the head fully assembled. I put the water neck on it, the thermostat housing on it. I've found the cursed plug already, put it on, so it should be ready for assembly. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and re-clean this top part of the block, and then bring over the head, put the head gasket in, and then put the new bolts in and torque it all down, and then the head should be mated to the block and ready to go. So sooner we get started, sooner we'll finish. Let's get to it. Okay, so quick explaining. Basically got the head gasket, brand new head gasket in there. Got the bolts, the brand new bolts. Obviously this thing was overheated, so I don't want to reuse the old ones. These are torque bolts, stretch bolts, so if you reuse them, they might break whenever retightening them. So especially since they've been heat cycled, better off just getting new ones. Got all the washers in there and everything. So I went on the forums and they said you want to go 30, 45, and then 60 foot-pounds. So it's 3 different sequences. I'm guessing you start from the middle out, which is usually what you do on any sort of head. You do these, go on the outside and start moving your way in, or you just crisscross your way out, basically. So we'll do that. I'll look up the sequence to double check, but usually head bolts, you do it from the middle out. So let's get to tightening it. Scratch that, I was wrong. You start from the back, move to the front, and then back here, and then back to the middle. So you start from outwards in. So that's what this says. So let's get to it. Time lapse is going. Cool, torque sequence is done. That was pretty exhausting. 60 foot-pounds is quite a lot, I'm not gonna lie, especially with that big old extension. And this is my torque wrench right here, so it was a little bit exhausting. Anyways, I'm gonna disassemble here and see if I can get the balancer out, so I can have access to the timing chain bottom sprocket, so I can go ahead and set the timing on this thing and see if it runs. Obviously I gotta keep assembling it, have a lot of stuff left to do, but now it gets easier from this point on, so get started. Okay, so we're back working on the Miata. It's a beautiful day. Thankfully no rain. And last night I ended up finishing the timing done on this thing. So all I have to do now is just reassemble. So I'll set timing properly. So how you set timing on this is you look at these, there's a little mark right here, and then the casting on the back of the head. This is not part of the head, this is literally just like a cover that goes on there, but it has some castings in it. So anyways, this is the intake cam. So what you look for is basically this I, which means intake, and then this is exhaust with the E. So on here you put the E going up because this is the exhaust, and then the intake goes in here into the cast marking. And then in here between this mark and then this one, there should be 19 teeth all the way down to the other mark. Counted them, it's 19 teeth. This thing is on top, that center down here. So this thing's ready to go. So all I gotta do is put the intake back in it, all the wiring and everything else, and it should be ready to start. So what I'm gonna do now, I bought a bunch of cans of brake cleaner and a few brushes. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the intake so we have a very pretty nice intake going back into the engine bay. I put the exhaust in last night. Don't touch that with your bare hands. I got a lot of fiberglass into my fingers. Kind of hurt. Anyways, I'm gonna remove this junk. The previous owner liked furries or something. Junk. But yeah, I got some brushes. Clean the intake. I got the other headlight working, so all it was, honestly, it was disconnected. So thankfully it was literally just a matter of plugging it in and then it was ready. As you can see, they both work. All we gotta do is figure out why the headlights doesn't work. Daytime running lights don't work. Apparently the previous owner said it only worked if you had the high beams on, so something else to take care of. Because I was taking care of this engine already. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the intake now so we can go ahead and slap it in. And then we have to put in the balancer and then retight this sway bar. Should be ready. Let's get to it. So we got the intake pretty washed up, as clean as it's gonna get for now. But yeah, we're gonna move over to the car. Been working on it for a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and start mounting the intake. I cleaned the block off pretty well. I'm gonna put this up here for now. So yeah, this thing's pretty cleaned up. Kind of routed the wires, put the hose on it. Not sure what else I'm missing. Once I get the intake in here, everything's gonna piece together a lot better than it is right now. But yeah, I gotta put this back on it, put some grounds over here, gotta tighten that down. Gotta put this ground on this end that goes right there onto the head. And that should be easy, just gotta find that bolt. Not sure what else I'm missing. The water pump pulley. Once I get that pulley on, I can put on the alternator belt and then it should be ready to start it. Obviously, you gotta put the balancer bolts in, that thing's loose. So a few stuff needs to be done, but pretty easy. We'll just get to it.
Okay, so day like 30, working the Miata. I'm not gonna say it's gonna start today because I've been wanting to start it for the past 3-4 days, but it definitely looks more promising today than ever. So, quick thing, not much to do now. Obviously, starter's ready. Everything's kind of bolted up, put in place. New valve cover gasket. The one I had doesn't really fit. As you can see here, it's kind of like lifted up, and if I push it down, this side comes up, and I think this gasket was just molded wrong. I don't think it was done properly. Anyways, we have another one. I went to O'Reilly's, picked one up. This was pretty good kit for every gasket, but I mean, honestly, not for the valve cover gasket. Hopefully the head gasket's good. That would suck if the head gasket's like too crappy and then I have to redo everything. Hopefully it's not the case. It looked pretty good, so we're gonna go ahead and try it. Anyways, now it's just buttoning up some other stuff. This is for the coils, so that's there. One of these vacuum hoses, I know these go up to the intake here. What else? We got some plugs that we have to hook up. And then this, okay, so what I did for the thermostat housing, obviously I broke the original one, so this is an NB part. Maybe like, for example, it's a 2000s, basically for a 1.8. So I had to find a hose clamp that would kind of fit here, or an actual hose that would fit on this one, because this one down here, it was a lot thinner and it wouldn't fit on this neck, and this neck's a lot thicker. So I had a hose kit that came with the vehicle whenever I purchased it, so easy, just cut a little bit off and then make it fit. So what I'm doing here is basically, we have this water jacket going up. I have a hose that does kind of like a 90, and this, I'm gonna cut it down here, put this attachment down here, and basically mate both of them. This will create kind of like a trap for air, sadly, but hopefully we could bleed it properly so we can get all the air out of the system. I mean, I got new spark plugs for it, so we gotta put the spark plugs in it. I should have done that yesterday so no moisture gets inside the cylinders, but oh well. We're gonna do that today. Today it should start. I'm not missing much. The intakes are already bolted in, the injectors are connected. Now it's just hooking up vacuum hoses and the intake and getting this thing started. So hopefully I did everything right and it should be able to start. I'm gonna be leaving this car here for a bit so I can drive this thing around and test it properly. Yep. So yeah, let's get started. So this thing's fully put together. We're ready to start. I still have to tighten down the sway bar and put water in the system, but I want to make sure it actually starts before I do anything else. So what we're gonna do, come in here. I said I wanted to prime this thing before I actually did anything, but I don't know, it should be okay. Easy peasy. All right, all it took was a new head gasket. See, there we go. All right, so we gotta button it up and then take it for a first test drive. So there's a check engine light. I know nearly nothing about this car, so this is the first time I actually got it to run. I'm unaware why the check engine light is on. I'm guessing that's why this kid had a sticker in front of it. Anyways, yeah, I got it all together. It's running. It sounds okay. There's a lot of little ticking, so it might just be low on oil. I haven't changed the oil since it overheated, which I should do. But yeah, has no power steering at the moment, and I have yet to connect the sway bar. But we got this fan working. This is the switch for the fans. So right now it's not hooked up. We got these external fan hooked up onto the center console right here. So that's working. It's not overheating, which is great. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it came out okay. It is a rainy day, so that means we can go have a little bit of fun. Obviously, I want to let it warm up first, make sure it's all good, all mechanically sound. I'm unaware of what's wrong with this car. This is the first time I see it run idle. Obviously, we made it run at the beginning of the video, but I mean, that was with almost a whole cup of oil in each cylinder, so I don't know, this is gonna be cool. So yeah, I don't know why we're gonna have to get some oil for this thing, just to double check, make sure it's not missing any. Oh yeah, seems okay so far. It's not misfiring or anything. The idle's straight on, so that's good. The headlights work. I believe these are the high beams. Previous owner said that yep, these are the high beams. So let's see if the regular lights work at all. Yep, they do. So I believe these are the high beams. So we'll check that. Yep, those are the high beams. So I mean, they work. I believe it has DRLs as well, daytime running lights, but they have to be hooked up. So all right, well, this thing looks promising. I'm excited. Can't wait to drive it. Not overheating. The engine's cool. It's gonna be a fun little car. So we finally got the Miata running. We're gonna see what we might need to do to it. Oh, actually, I'm gonna park on this end. So got the Miata running. I'm gonna go buy some oil for it just to make sure we got. There's enough oil in it right now. I just
obviously want to test drive the car, and I can do obviously run the oil a little bit so it's warm, and then we can make sure we get all the oil out of it, so we can put brand new oil, do a proper oil change to it, and see if it runs. So it's got 175,000 miles. I bought it with a blown head gasket. Had no idea I bought it. I showed up, the guy said, oh yeah dude, I overheated it. And I'm like, all right, great. Well, you didn't say that in the ad, so thank you, bro. Well, anyways. Dude, this thing's so fun. So I've worked on Miatas before. My friend Ronaldo, he has one. He has a 1.8. We've done basically everything to it, including an ECU. We put in bigger injectors, coilovers, brakes. We bought new wheels. We had to install them. But yeah, I mean, that car is real fun. This is a 1.6, so it is like the lower trim, basically just a smaller engine. Literally the exact same thing. He has a NA, this is a NA, so I have a little bit of experience with these cars. This is the first time I've actually rebuilt an engine, so, or not rebuilt, but a head gasket in one of these. So I mean, it turned out okay, I guess. I mean, it's running. Cool, so we got the oil, got the filter, got like a $30 promotion. They just had it for Christmas time, so yay, Merry Christmas. Miata, you're getting new oil. So let's go back to the shop, see if we can. Oh dude, I forgot. Haha, I'm retarded. Okay, gotta go back in there. I need a belt. I need the power steering belt. I started turning the wheel and I was like, dude, there's no power steering. All right, we got the belt that we needed. Now I should be able to get some power steering out of this thing. So that's the power steering and AC compressor belt. It's the same one, so installing that should give me power steering and AC. So no more to hard steering anymore. Dude, that fender rubs like a... Man, I thought my E46 was slow. Damn, this thing's slow AF, 90 horsepower. So we made it in one piece. Wonderful. And it's still running. And the best thing, it's not smoking anymore. So there was something, definitely, it was probably just too much oil in there from the engine, just from the teardown and then rebuild. So wonderful. It's not smoking or anything. Car's running great. Could not be happier.